Testing, testing, testing. Testing.
Now I can see you.
Oh, is it?
Now I can see you. Yeah.
Hi, doctor. Is it okay? Okay, doctor, maybe we can start?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good afternoon to especially our speaker for today, Dr. Michael here, and to everyone with us today. So we are very glad to have you with us in our um, talk for today. So our session for today is about leadership. So is it leadership implications in the new normal era? So, ladies and gentlemen, as we know now, like we are in the new normal era for everything, like our social life change, our working environment change, and everything. So, is it affect our leadership for today? Like, so, like everyone knows what leadership is, but few people can articulate what it truly means. So that's why we bring our adjunct professor with us today. So to talk more about leadership and is it give impact to our new normal era, right, Dr. Michael?
Yep.
Yeah. So without further ado, before I give this session to you, let me introduce you a bit to our audience for today.
Sure.
So because we are very glad to have you here, this is like your second time with us, right, Doctor?
Yep.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, like Dr. Michael here is the founder and CEO of Corporate Coach Academy and the founder of the Malaysian Association of Certified Coaches, a national coaching body that sets coaching standards and benchmarking for the industry. He is also an adjunct professor in Ottoman Yop Abdullah Graduate School of Business. So he is known as the father of coaching in this region. He is a renowned professional practitioner coach who is among the few with the most prestigious ICF Master Credential Coach MCC status. Okay, so among his trip of others credential, Dr. Michael is also honored with 3 Global Coach Leader Award from Brand Laureate and the World HR Congress. So, congratulations, Doctor. So
Thank
these
you.
two organizations, Corporate Coach Academy, CCA, today stand out as the leading coaching schools and institution for the building of coach leaders and talent in this region. Dr. Michael also is the founder and chairman of the Malaysian Association of Certified Coaches, the first and largest coaching organization in this region. He was also the founder and president of the ICF chapter in Malaysia, who brought the ICF brand of coaching here. He is also a popular coaching columnist in both the local and international media and also a coach blogger who frequently shares his experience in his stories that coach blog. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I proudly bring this session to you guys, and I will pass this session to you, Dr. Michael.
Thank you so much, Rosita.
Yeah.
Thank you for the very fine introduction.
Thank you.
So do I need to do anything to the screen? I will just speak from now on. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So hello, friends. Friends from the university and friends from Facebook and many other platforms who are watching this particular 1 hour talk, just about an hour talk on this very interesting topic that I have been experiencing in my role as a coach, and reading about as well as interacting with people who are in a way affected by this COVID-19, or now we call it the new normal because COVID-19 is slowly getting off thanks to the great work done by our health ministry. We are almost, getting ready clean up from the virus and entering into a new era altogether. And this new era is called the new normal era. Okay. Sometimes they call it the new now era. It's no more normal, it is now. It's now. So how is it going to affect our life? I think it affects everybody's life, okay, one way or another. Whether you are a parent, you are also affected by it. Whether you're a student, you are affected by it. Whether you are in the community, you're affected by it. And of today's interest in my talk today, I'll be talking about how it will affect leaders, new leaders, current leaders, and leaders to be, especially those who are from the business school. You're finishing your PhD, you're finishing your master's. So you are now about to go into the employment market as leaders. So how is this going to affect you? Okay, one way or another. And this is what I will be speaking on today. So let me get on to the slide now and share with you what the journey of this 1 hour as to what this whole situation is going to be. So this is called leadership implications in the new normal era, or it can also be called the what they call the new era of today. So the conversation today between you and me will focus very much on the leadership side, the corporate leaders in organization. And I don't have to do any more introduction. Thanks to Rosita. You have said everything about me so that it gives me more time to address you and talk more about this topic. Now, today's agenda on leadership implications on in this era, this new normal era, will cover a couple of points here. First is let us get some definition clear or term of reference as to what this new normal era is all about, what it is. Okay, and next I'm going to open up the chat box and getting you all to write the biggest thing that is affecting you or that has affected you in this new era that we got ourselves in sometime, I believe, in early March when the lockdown was instituted to this part of the world and into many parts of the world. How is this affecting you? And then after that, we will go into the next one here. What are the new realities? So what it is about this new normal? Okay, certain realities we cannot escape from, certain realities that we need to face. We want to put it all out, not all, but at least in the way that I've experienced it, some hard realities. And then after that, we will look into this thing. What does this mean? Or how does it affect? Or what are the implications of these realities of the new normal on leaders in organization? So we will spend some time talking about this. And then after that, the question is, how do we bounce forward where we can leverage on these realities for our success as leaders? So I will spend some time talking about that as well. And of course, we will spend maybe the last 10 minutes for some chat based on what I have presented, and maybe some other things that you have in mind. You may just want to put it down there. I may not be able to answer all the questions, but there'll be people on the floor that we can actually ask, or people in the cyberspace that we can actually ask for some answers if I can't provide you with a good one. And that will be the end of our session. And that's our 1 hour menu for today. So there you are, dear friends, the new normal. The new normal. So what is that? And this new normal is something that's going to change. We can't get back to the old normal. Our starting line has to be reset. We cannot say, oh, during the old days before COVID, we try to get back the same revenue that we were getting. We try to do back the same things that we were doing. You may not be able to do that because of the big change in the world today. And this is going to be something that's going to be permanent. Now, so what it is in your own mind? And then, of course, the next thing is, how is this affecting you? So I'd like you all to, put into the chat box right now anything about your own definition of what the new normal is. And then maybe a second liner to put down there, what is the thing that you are most affected by this new normal? Can I just go back to the chat box and look for your messages? And then after that, I will answer them before we move on. So I'd like to hear your thinking around it and how you are affected by the new normal. So I'm just waiting for a couple of messages to come in before I proceed on. So what is this new normal to you in your own experience? And secondly, how is this affecting you? Be it work, be it family life, be it your personal life, be it your community life, be it any kind of life where you find that the new normal has affected you or is affecting you in some way or another. Nobody has anything?
As of now, we don't have yet, Doctor. So maybe everyone
Maybe I
just
ask
figure
you.
out.
Then I will ask you, Rosita, to keep this thing alive while waiting for any chat messages. Yeah, how is this affecting you, Rosita?
Yeah,
The
it's
biggest thing
frankly
is
speaking, like it's very affected, because like especially in our social life, it's like because yeah, like we used to hang out like every night, like not every night. I mean, like we used to going eat outside, having dinner outside. Like weekend, we go to like supermarket. But this one, like we have to like for 3 months, we are not going anywhere, and like we have to limit ourselves because of that. So it's like very changed to us. And for working environment also, Doctor, it's like we have a new way of communication with students. Like we have to very focus on email, phones. Like our phone also now like very public to everyone.
that's
So
right.
that's really somehow give not to say impact, but it's a change a bit in how we work.
Even to pray also that has changed. Huh? Praying to God, praying to Allah also that has changed because we can't go to the mosque anymore, or now we can, but earlier on we couldn't. Everything was on live stream and all that.
Yes, right with that.
Yeah, and at least that happens to me because I'm a Catholic and I have to attend my services all in YouTube format. So that has made me even more holier because I don't have to travel so far, so I can attend 2 or 3 services a day. So one of the things that affected me in the new normal is I have become a little bit more spiritual.
Okay,
So
that's
which is
good actually.
a positive thing. Okay,
Yeah.
good. So there's no messages. I hope later on there'll be some that will come in, but I will get. So this is the new normal, and this is how it's affecting us. Okay, let me get back to this again. Now, so what are the implications on leadership or on leaders? The first thing we look at the realities of the new normal from the professional scene. First thing is, it's going to be a long period of slow growth, a long period of uncertainty, and of course, because there's so much uncertainty, everybody wants to stay alive, make some progress. So there's going to be greater competition in every field that we are in. So this is something that we have to accept. Restaurant business is going to go down. You know that they cannot take in so many people. You know, go to a theater is the same thing. You go to a hotel for function is the same thing. Even you go to let's say to a place of worship, it's going to be the same thing. You know what I mean? So it's going to be slow. There'll be lesser people because of so many constraint and also fear. And because of that, it leads to a period of great uncertainty. People cannot tell very certain as to what's going to happen next month or the month after next or next year. So that period is completely uncertain because we do not know when the virus will come back for another attack. You can see that in Beijing. China thought that they were totally clean until, just recently, then it came back again and they had to shut down airports, shut down a lot of things because of that. So uncertainty, competitiveness is going to be a thing of that's real, that's coming in. And that affects the way we work and our lifestyle. In work, it's going to be so different. We work remotely. We don't go back to the office as often as what we do. We communicate through Zoom. Rojita say our phone has become very public now. So there's great changes in the workplace. People may not be put on full-time employment. They will be put on flexi employment. Wages are going to be dynamic in the sense that if you work, I pay you. You don't work, I don't pay you. But I don't pay you a 1 month of salary because we cannot afford it. We do not know what's going to happen. In the lifestyle side, things have changed. Social distancing is definitely one of those things that is greatly impacting us. Wearing of masks, and everywhere that we go to, going to supermarkets and getting our temperature checked, using QR code to record, our information. So that is something that we never had experienced before. And that is real, and that is going to be, again, for some time to come. Now, because of this, I have mentioned earlier on about competition. It's not about the survival of the fittest, no, today. It's the survivors of the most fittest. And as we go, at least in my own view of life, as I go through from day to day, week to week, month to month, I can find that organizations are having a hard time, on a sustained hard time, because they had a hard time sometime in March, and that hasn't changed. Performance has dropped, revenue has dropped, and that is still going on for quite a while. So people are finding it very hard to sustain because they got to call out their reserves to keep things going. They don't have enough business to rip in enough revenue to pay salaries, to pay for expenditure. So everybody is going to be, put into the greatest test of it all. So organizations that have got, savings, they will probably survive a bit more longer because they can call back on that. But companies or even individuals who don't have savings, then it's going to be a hard time to come. Now, and one other thing that has become very real is the need for physical health and mental health. The physical health is for us to be able to withstand the virus, is to protect us against the virus, or the virus can't get into us because we are so healthy, physically healthy, because we do a lot of exercises, we keep everything, in balance. And of course, this thing called a mental health, because of depression, because of loneliness, because of overwork, because when you are in this world today, when you have to work in the office, like me for that matter, I spend almost everything in the office at home right now. Otherwise, I would have been in the office. So it's really very hard to separate work from family. It's like all together. Sometimes when you're cooking, you'll be probably trying to talk to a staff. You tell the staff, I have to cook because otherwise the food will get overburnt. So you hope you don't mind. I'll be cooking and talking to you. So it's going to be that kind of a thing, for a long time to come. So that's the realities of it, which leaders need to take note of. So if you're a leader in an organization, you've got to be aware that this is happening. So what does that mean to you? So the success for leaders now, because of this situation, uncertainty, work and life changes, mental health issues, physical health issue, survival of the fittest. So what will make us leaders successful? So here are some of those that I have named for you. First, is to stay continuously relevant, because what you know today may not be so applicable for tomorrow, because because we do not know what the tomorrow is going to be. So if you are a person who stays in comfort zone, people who who is very resistant to change or not very responsive to change, you may become very irrelevant very soon if we don't. Now, one example of this is the use of virtual meetings like Zoom, like me for that matter. I hardly use Zoom. We were running on a very low internet capacity in my house. I don't know, it maybe like 5 gig or something like that kind. But today I had to upgrade to 100 the speed, because I'm using Zoom. I don't use Skype so much right now. I don't use any other means like so much right now. I use a lot of Zoom, and of course now I use Webex, I use Teams, I use Hangout. So these are the things that I have never been using in such a scale, but now I am really using that a lot. So I have to stay relevant a lot more, and of course staying at home. You know what I mean? Instead of going out. The second thing that is really very important for leaders to be very successful is they really have to be very smart-minded. Innovation is one thing. That means you always have to think of ways to overcome competition, ways on how to be better than your competitor. But you also need to be very resourceful, because resources are going to be very few. If you're a leader of an organization, budgets are going to be cut to the very basic. So you have to live on a smaller budget. Staff force, they have to probably retrench half of the staff force or make them work as part-timers, flexi workforce. And therefore, in other words, you have few people that you can count on. You probably have to do a lot of things by yourself. Just like even right now, I'm managing this whole thing here, this meeting by myself. And so everybody is going to be looking for processes that are short, cost-effective means, and things that really work in this new era. So smart-mindedness is very important. And the third one is we need to be very agile and adaptable. So leaders, we want to have agile leaders. They are agile. They can move left, right, anywhere, and they are adaptable as well. Adaptable to working at home. Suddenly you have to work at home throughout, and you are adaptable to it. Conducting your meetings virtually, you are adaptable to it. Managing a workforce, who are also in their home, and you are here as a manager, but you have 20 staff, and your 20 staff are in 20 different locations in their house, and it's like, how do I manage them? And this will be the other success factor that all leaders should have. And finally, of course, this thing called digitalization. We need to be savvy to some extent in the digital world, because the world is moving into what is known to be a bionic world organization right now. Even small organizations, a small little food business, they also need to depend on that, on Facebook, on Instagram, on so many other channels, WhatsApp, to sell their nasi lemak, they sell their, pencit ayam, to sell their chicken rice. Even this little store have to go into this. So what about an organization that has got 500 staff, 1,000 staff, or 10,000 staff, and hundreds of thousands of customers? So if we don't have this in a greater way than what we used to have, this is definitely going to be one of those things that will spell disaster. So therefore, dear friends, let's stay very close to these success factors to become very successful leaders. Now, moving from there, let's look at a cocktail of 8 new leadership skills that are needed, that I feel that are needed by leaders in this new normal era. And what are they? You see, this is the nice crystal glass, and upon that you put in your cocktail. So your first cocktail of skill that you need is, we need to be very purposeful and very focused. Why? Organizations also need to be that very purposeful now and very focused. Individuals also need to be very purposeful and focused, because if we are not purposeful in looking at what we want in life, looking at our own vision, our own plan of what we want in life, and staying very focused in it, you find that the challenges around us can just take us off balance and we'll just go astray. But if you are purposeful and we are very focused, very disciplined, then we'll be like a rock. We'll be quite a rock that we can weather through hard times. Last time, we don't need to be very purposeful. Organizations talk about purposeful, but many organizations really don't really understand what purposeful is, because we didn't have the kind of challenges that we are facing right now. So this particular new era thing, this new normal thing, it has to make us really, really purposeful, and we really got to know what this really means to us. The second one is, I mentioned that again, agility, adaptability, and speed. So we can't be in comfort zone anymore. And we got to have high threshold for many things. We cannot go and play games based on our rules right now. We got to play games or do our business based on our rules, but we also need to do that on the rules of the market forces as to what is required from us. So we can move in, we can move out, we can bounce in, we can bounce out, and we are very agile, we are very flexible, we can go through little creeks and corners. So that is really required of a leader. So that would also mean that a leader who is healthy, a leader who is mentally very strong, they probably will have greater skills in this than someone who is probably having some issues in relation to their physical state and also their mental state. So that's the second thing to do. And of course, high confidence and courage, because we may be needed to do things that we never, have done that before, things that we never dreamt that we would need to be in that before, things that we have never planned before. So we are all in that kind of scenario, that kind of environment. So again, if you have no confidence and your confidence is very low in the past, it's like saying you have no choice right now. You got to move it up, because otherwise you may be out of the organization or out of the mainstream of life as well. So that's the third part of the cocktail. The fourth part of the cocktail is leaders. Whether you are a HR guy, or whether you're a production guy, or whether you're an operations guy, or whether you're a financial guy, we need to have holistic business skills. We need to not only look at our departmental output, but we need to understand the business. We need to be very, very concerned about how the company is doing in terms of its business. So an IT guy or a production guy or an operations guy or a HR guy, you really got to know that, because the revenue side of things is going to drive what's going to happen in the organization. So we need to have that. And business leaders also need to pay attention to the people. People have become much more greater than before, because not only we are working with lesser numbers, but we are working with a team of people that we have to ensure that they are in the best state of mind to work, to perform, and so forth. And of course, the other business skills that we need to have is we need to have the business skill of processes as well. Our processes will have to be smart. Our processes will have to be fast. Our processes will have to be simple. Our processes must be highly effective. So we'll be looking at processes, whether from a HR perspective or whichever department perspective you are in. We need to look at processes. We need to look at people. We need to look at revenue. So that's the holistic demand of leadership, business leadership, that is placed on all leaders. Now, then this thing I call it the high leadership presence. The presence of your leadership. When you're working in a workplace, people see you around. You walk around, people see you. But now we have virtual teams, we have remote teams, we have people working offsite, we have people, in locations where we don't see them anymore. Or sometimes we see them, sometimes we don't, So how do you make your presence of your leadership be known to them? How can you make them feel your leadership? How do you communicate virtually, but yet they know that they are communicating to a person, not a virtual robot somewhere, you know what I mean? So the presence of your leadership is something that you need to build. Your charisma, your communication skills, your art of communication, your communication process, all this have to be looked into as to how you make yourself present. In my work as a coach, I often hear leaders say, I do not know how to deal with my people. My people don't answer the phone calls. I WhatsApp them, they don't answer me. And they need to do a lot of work, but they are just not responding. How do I deal with them? So this is now the era that we are in. Six, I mentioned that our digital capabilities is a necessary thing to have. Even a man on the street, we don't even have a talk about leaders, even a man on the street, like I mentioned, a nasi seller, even we're talking about a grandfather, a grandmother right now, and if they want to communicate or if they have to buy certain things, so they probably have to do, be conversant on how to do online, shopping, online delivery of food, and even attending press, in digital format. So this is something that is a real must thing for all leaders to have. And number seven, the smart thinker. We got to be very, very smart. It's no longer just about intelligence alone, but smartness is very important. A playful mind, an innovative mind. I talked about that earlier on. But these are some of those things that all leaders would also need to embrace and to strengthen in themselves, their thinking skills, their smart thinking skills, not just the intelligent thinking skills. Now, the last one is leaders need to be also top talent builders. They have to build talents in their organization very, very fast. Because in order for organization to survive, they need real top talents that are very fast, talents that have great commitment, talents who are very versatile, those very things that we talk about, the purposeful, the agility, the confidence and all that. We want to have a talent or talent in our organization that either have those skills or if they don't have, we grow them. If we don't grow them, we know how to go out into the market and look at the profile of the people out there in the marketplace, and there are plenty of them right now, plenty of people who are out of job, and you want to recruit them into your organization, you need to have a profile as to what to look for. So this cocktail of 8 leadership skills will provide you also a profile of what to look for in the building of talents in your organization and also in the building of yourself as a top talent in the organization. So dear friends, so these are the 8 cocktail of leadership skills that leaders in the new normal should, I will use the word, that they must possess. So dear friends, I'm going to stop here just for a short little break for you to put in your chat if there's any, and I'll answer that before I move on to the last part of our presentation. All right, I'm going to get that back there. Okay, stop the sharing. I'm still sharing. Okay, I stop the sharing. Okay, let's see whether there will be any messages, any chat messages that I can respond to. That'd be very nice if I can get the crowd to be a little bit more interactive.
Doctor, actually, we have 2 questions now from our Facebook Live. So, can I read it to you?
The first one.
Okay, the first one is from Mr. Nur Husna. Okay, he said that new normal is a whole new living experience the world needs to adapt to. Digitalization of almost everything we do, like getting groceries and food stuff, it's faster getting them online, where instead of having to queue up long in line at the shop due to social distancing, and it's delivered to our door. So office work are now can be done from home amidst household chaos with the kids at all the home. So classes also are conducted online. But the biggest issue is we have this uncertainty. Don't we know when it's gonna end? So how it's gonna be then onwards?
Okay, the uncertainty. It's really so hard, There's no really an answer to uncertainty because you be like caught with our pants down in most cases. But I guess certain things can be kind of like what's the word for it? Prepared for. Like one of those things I think very important for me. Okay, if I were to look at this whole thing here is I need to have some. First thing is I need to have some financial backing. That means we must have some savings for a rainy day. So when you have that kind of thing, at least you know that your house rental, if you're renting a house, that's been paid for. Food on the table is assured. Once we know that the basics are okay, then our mind can then look at the other challenges as to how we should adapt. So I guess one of the other things that will make us very adaptable in this period of uncertainty, apart from some savings that we need to have, that'd be really good to have, is our mind readiness that anything can happen to us. It's just like when you sleep, you will have, let's say, probably a torchlight next to you, So sometimes if that blackout, you just reach out for a torchlight and then you can just what they call shine away. So we got to protect get ourselves ready with certain things that are so-called our survival kits in this era. And keeping ourselves fit is also one of the survival kits that we have. I mean, when we are healthy, when we are our mind is very sound. Having friends around us, that we can call for help would be also another thing that we can use in times of reality, because we can get information, we can get help, we can get a lot of those kind of things. Um, Reading and keeping ourselves updated, getting the latest out, making sure that we always are on the internet, always we are on the news to know what is happening and all that. So all these things will give us advanced knowledge, but put us a few steps ahead, of other people when things should turn from bad to worse. So that's my answer, Rudita, to the gentleman. I hope that answers.
Okay, Doctor. But Mr. Nur Husna added a little more. Like he said that is it too much to say that we're being seen a lot of talent head hunting soon?
Would that be?
Would that be seeing a lot of talent head hunting soon?
There'll be a lot of headhunting for the best in talent, not just a normal person. There's no time for people who are just average workers. You are an average worker, you have no skill, there will not be a good place for you in the organization. So the hunting will be for top talents, people where organizations will find that if I have you in my organization, there's a greater chance for my organization to survive and also to progress. So it's going to be handpicking of the very best, and definitely that thing is on already. The scouting for the best talent is already on, and there will be more and more and more.
Maybe we could say that as IT savvy is the one of the criteria that they will look into, right?
That's right. I call it digital skills.
Yeah.
So that will be the digital skills that people would need to have. It's more than IT. It's so many platforms. You know what I mean? Yes, it's just one of them, and then many more as well.
One of them.
Yeah. The IT and the non-IT side of things.
Okay, Doctor. For the second question, from Miss Kemala. Okay, she said that even though the working environment changed to flexibility, but the workload not change, and as a command from top management, not visible to see employee performance, even we complete the task. So what will be happen if no KPI measurement from top management?
Okay, very good. Work has actually got to be more. It's not the same. If I look at myself, I never knew that I am working much more harder than before. Although revenue is not like before, but I'm working harder. So it's like, macam mana? How do you rationalize, more work, but you have less business? So that is a reality of things. But that doesn't mean that organizations can't be making more. Yeah, I know, but there are organizations that they're making a lot. I know, like home delivery people are making a lot of money as well. Insurance are making a lot of money as well. The pharma company making a lot of money as well. You know what I mean? Now, so how do we measure performance? We measure performance strictly by not processes, but by results and outputs. If it's going to be on a HR thing, the output would be more like, okay, I want to see, it could be, I want to bring down the manpower cost from, let's say, 1 million to 500,000. And we're going to do that in 3 months' time. And if you're able to produce that, then you are called relevant in the organization. But not, I tried to call people, but people not responding. Management don't want to listen. Look at those reasons anymore. They look at the final result of what they want. So it's very indicator based. So it's very KPI based for everything that we do. So there's no time for processes activities anymore. Okay, that is really about I want this output Did you give it that to me or not? So as long as people deliver on their output, then it will be seen that that department or that person is productive and is performing at a high level because he or she is able to achieve the output that the organization want them to do. This is the new thinking of organization right now. Basing on output, you probably have to restructure your reward system in such a way that is correlated to the output that you want from them. A kind of a scoreboard, a scorecard that tells you, okay, this guy has performed so much, so therefore he's deserving of this amount of rewards, and somebody else who is producing even higher, then how would that dynamic reward system reward people in various departments? So that's my answer, Rosita, to the person concerned. Thank you for sharing your queries on this. Is there any more that is there from anyone?
As of now, we have that one only, Dada. So
Okay.
we open next session.
Okay, good. So anyway, we are almost coming close to the end. Just another 15 minutes, and let me go through the slides again to continue, and then after that, I'll stop by again for some more comments. Huh? Okay. Okay, I've gone into this already. Now, I'm coming to the conclusion of it already. Actually, to look at this whole thing here. So, dear friends, all of this thing can be wrapped up in a couple of things. First thing is stay relevant, stay abreast, stay connected, stay updated. Do anything in the world for you to stay very relevant. There's no time to waste because we have to move to become relevant very, very fast because the the COVID-19 thing, don't wait for anyone. When it comes in, it's going to just go in and just sweep the whole place. So the more ready we are, the more relevant we are, and staying that way, it will really, really help us to be what you call ready for any eventuality that may come. And staying competitive, upskilling yourself, reskilling yourself. Look for all the ways to improve yourself. Look at the cocktail of the eight leadership skills. Build that up, sharpen that up, so that you are not one of the 100. You are one of the 20 in the whole in the whole what they call basket of things. You're always at the top 10, top 20 of anything. You're not one of the 80. You got to be really at the top down there so that people notice you. And when you are able to stay very competitive and stay very, very good, the rewards can be very, very high. So this is time whereby COVID or no COVID, new normal or no new normal, you find that you can actually leverage, you can actually cash on the many opportunities for an organization that requires your skill because you are the best in your field. So this will be one great thing that we should be paying attention to because we just got to be the best. Now, dear friends, keeping a healthy work-life balance is really very, very important. I've been a coach for the last 20 years, and this is one of those things that's very, very common among many people, even those days before the COVID thing, life balance. But the life balance thing today is really real. Why? Because you're working inside your house. Those days, life balance was a different issue altogether. It's like, I spend too much time in the office. I don't spend much time in the home. So there is a clear division: a physical space called an office, a physical space called a home. But now there's no more physical space; it's borderless between the home and the office because you'll be spending a lot of time, at home. Many companies are not opening yet. Even my own office, okay, we since the lockdown in March until today, we have not opened our office. All our programs are done online. You know what I mean? So, and I'm spending a lot of time at home as well. So staying at home, you breed another issue. While of course, it's nice to have a great time with the family, and the children and so forth. But too much of each other's spaces, sometimes can also lead to problem. We will be there's lesser space for privacy because your own time is lesser because everything is all in the home. And more so if you're living in a home that is small, a terrace house or a little apartment, then the challenge of being in a place that is so small and not being able to go out because of so many restrictions can actually make this thing a very, very big challenge today. And this is one of the big things that organizations and leaders would need to take note of. You have to lead, you have to lead with a head, you have to lead with a heart, and you have to lead with your hand. Head means a leader. You got to be somebody who is purposeful, a vision and all that to take a company through. Heart is you really have to take care of your employees' well-being. They are very, very fragile now. And we can't afford anyone to be unhealthy in an organization because if any of them are contacted, COVID, COVID-19 or this virus, the whole office can be shut down. I mean, and that can mean disaster for the organization. Likewise, the life side also have to be taken care of because otherwise, family life will suffer. So this is the kind of challenge that um, we have to ensure, be very, very mindful to ensure that we are both physically healthy, mentally healthy, and have a good balance. We know when to stop work, when to shut down our laptop and be with the family, and when to open up the laptop again and then get back to work. We got to have that fine balance of things. Yeah, and there you are, dear friends. Link back to this is this thing called stay strong, healthy, and maybe one more word down there, and safe, and keeping yourself very safe. So, dear friends, this is the new normal and the realities and what it means to us as leaders and how, like it said in the conclusion here, how we can actually, overcome that and still end up successful, happy, fulfilled um, in our life on earth. So with that, dear friends, I say thank you to you. This is me again. I can be contacted. Okay, I got a number down there. I got an office down there. I'll just leave the screen here for just a couple of seconds for you to contact me if you want to. And of course, contact Oya Graduate Business School. They know where my whereabouts. And Corporate Coach Academy is the place where I work and where I'm the CEO. So now, dear friends, I now open up the floor for chat time. We have just like 10 minutes, okay, and we can, and please do have it in your chat, and let's have a short little discussion, and then we'll call this whole talk, we'll wrap it up in a nice way. So can we have you coming in with your messages for some chit chat before we close the session? Thank you, my dear friends. I can't hear you, Rojita.
We have another one question.
It's very
Hold on,
good.
Doctor. Okay, this is from Mr. Firdaus. So, for your opinion, Doctor, is this pandemic of COVID-19 will change the leadership role in future?
It's already changed. It's not even changed. It has already changed. What has changed? We are already managing a leader who is managing a workforce, but he's actually at home, wearing his short pants, maybe on or his sarong. You know what I mean? At home, but he's managing that already. And the leader right now to communicate with people, he's using virtual platforms to communicate already. And like you say, Brigitta, the handphone has become a public property, and that becomes like the thing to go. And you have to recruit people to work in organization, but the first day of work is they're working from home. There's no orientation in the office. You know what I mean? And salary systems, remuneration system, they're all going to change because we may be not paying somebody on a full-time employment. You're paying them on a part-time. You're paying them on a what do you call a contract, day-to-day, term of engagement. So that has already changed, and also the demands on the leaders has also changed because the organization is going to expect a lot more from the leaders than what they were expecting, before this thing happened. So it has already changed. So, dear friend, if you were to look into yourself and ask yourself, don't you agree that a couple of things in you actually now have changed in your leadership role?
Somehow
So it's already now. It's no longer will be coming. Huh?
it's already here, Doctor.
Yeah. So is that good news or bad news for us? Actually, is this COVID thing a good thing or a bad thing for us?
It
Maybe
depends
I
on
just
how we
ask
see it, Doctor.
the viewers. Huh? So is it a good thing if okay? Maybe I change my question. If this new normal is a good thing, it's a good thing. Huh? So what would it be? So what's the good thing about the new normal? Many of us will think of all the bad things about the new normal. But what are some good things that come out of it? I give you one mine. For me, what's a good thing for me? I have become a little bit more spiritual because because everything is on live stream. So therefore, I can be in touch with God more often. So it's a good thing. If it was before that, then you want to travel. Okay, there'll be little bit of an obstacle here and there. But now it's so convenient for us to what. And I have more time with the family, but I don't know whether they like me to be at home or not. But as far as I'm concerned, it is good that you have more time, at home,
That's right, Doctor.
and you cut down on your transportation. You don't have to pay so much on your grab fees. Okay, there's less pollution on the road. You know what I mean? Less traffic jam. Parking issues are lesser. So these are all good things, right? Isn't it?
Yes. So that's why, Doctor, how we see it
Yeah,
impact our life, you know. So if we see from the good side, then it will be good.
yeah,
Yes.
that's right. So I think and that is called adaptability. It's about adaptability. Rather than we cry over it and say that why like this, why like this, and I'm not making any change. So we might well embrace it rather than trying to push it away because this is the new way of the
Life.
world.
Yeah.
So let's make the best of it, lah.
That's right,
You
Doctor.
know,
I think for everyone also, it's like people start to adapt with this, you know.
yeah,
Maybe for the earlier phase, like we are very, it's hard for us to I mean, like adapt with these and everything, you know. But now it's like everyone normal, not go to supermarket, also normal, buying
yeah.
everything online.
We don't complain anymore already.
Is
We don't,
instead meeting at the office also now, like we prefer to do it like through online instead of
yeah,
coming to the
yeah.
office, you know. Yeah, so that's
Actually, the COVID-19 thing has pushed the world's development to where it is right now in a faster way. Actually, the world is already going towards this direction already. Virtual digitization. It's actually we're actually getting there already. But the COVID-19, push it and make things faster. So we are getting this new era maybe 10 years in advance. If COVID didn't come in, maybe we will experience the same thing 10 years later. But with the COVID thing, we are experiencing it now. That's why we call it the new now or the new normal.
right.
So that's basically, the thing to be. So I guess that advice to everybody is like embrace it, nothing to cry about because this is a new world. And the most important thing in life is to be happy and to be fulfilled and to be satisfied. So I hope that my little talk here actually has provided some new dimensions, some new tips on how we can actually embrace the new normal and live a happier, productive life.
Okay, Doctor,
Off
maybe
to
we
you.
can receive one more last question.
Yes.
Wait, Doctor. Yeah. Okay. So this is from Miss Kemala. So she asked about okay, the work style changed to a new era, but as a leader, did they adopt the new environment? Most of the leaders become micromanaging in this pandemic session.
Yes, they have to be micromanaging, but they also have to manage on the big picture because they have to manage revenue. They have to manage what they call productivity. So it's both big picture and small picture. It's true. Those days, some leaders they were managing it from the big picture. They don't need to be very hands on. Okay, but this COVID-19 thing pushes everybody that we need to also have leaders who are very hands on. I mean, like now, I don't have a secretary to set up this whole thing for me, for this meeting. I have to do it all by myself. It's micromanaging. This is not, this is the job of a technician, no. So now even a leader like me, a coach like me, I have to be a technician and also to do this, I mean. So it's both sides of the fence. Huh? I mean, two dimension. One, the big picture thing, which we need to have, the big purpose of the organization. We got to keep our eye on the ball to make sure that revenue is coming in, the company is doing well. At the same time, we have to look at processes to ensure the processes are making things happen for us. Yes, this is my view on this.
One more question, Doctor.
Okay, good.
This is from Miss Yin Hiu. Okay, she asked about okay, based on your experience, how to ensure the effectiveness of blended learning, like face to face plus e-learning.
Well, we have this experience ourselves. Okay, I run coaching programs. Huh? I run coaching programs, helping people to become coaches. And before the pandemic, we were already in blended learning. We have virtual and live going together at the same time. Then, with the pandemic, everything became just virtual. Now, things are being lifted already. So, we therefore have got two, it's all based on customers. So those customers who are less fearful of their health and they still prefer, I want to learn the live way, I want to see the lecturer, I want to see my students, then they go into live classes. But at the same time, simultaneously, we have the virtual students who will also be able to learn it virtually. So when these two things combine together, then that's the best thing in the world. But to answer your question very, very fast, blended learning and virtual learning, blended learning is only meant for people who really want that kind of preference. You know what I mean? So based on the customers, then an organization will make a business decision whether they should be going along that way or this way. But if this is applied to leaders in organization, I think the blended way probably is quite good in the sense that blended management, because for people to stay in the house all the time, it's going to be quite tiring and boring as well. So for them to go back to the office, once in a while to touch base again, and then go back again to your own location. If you can do a to and fro thing with the right, with the right mixture, right balance, then I think the blended thing is maybe quite a good thing to explore for many leaders. Okay, that's what I have to say. Rosita, any more coming in?
Yeah, thank you, Doctor. So far, I think we don't have more question.
Thank
So
you.
maybe we
So,
can end our session here today, Doctor.
so you want to say something or I say something?
I say a bit, then you.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so thank you so much, Doctor, for the clarification. So at least we can have, a wider view about this pandemic and how we going to handle it, in a working perspective. Okay, so Doctor, so thank you so much. And yeah, maybe we can have a few more words from you for the conclusion.
Yeah, just what I said, and I will just reiterate again, embrace the new normal, with positivity. Every threat has got their opportunities. Every weaknesses have their strength as well. So I guess this is the best time for us to make sure that this thing come true. So a change in mindset, being adaptable, be agile, be accepting of what is right in front of us. When we can do that, as opposed to resisting and crying over it, then I think we make ourselves very, very happy. We make the world also a very happy place to be. And I thank you very, very much for listening in. And thank you, Rujita, and thank you to the university for giving me this opportunity. Till we meet again.
Thank you so much,
All
Doctor.
to you.
So I believe that we have another session with you soon.
Yes. We are having it on
In
8, right? It's on
8th
adaptability
July.
and
Yeah,
resilience.
8th July. So the topic will be also like leadership. Uh,
Adaptability and resilience in the new
yes,
normal.
yes, yes.
That's right.
So let us see
So,
you soon.
see
And
you.
thank you so much for today's session.
Thank you to you. Thank you to everybody. I sign off now.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
And stay safe, Doctor.
Bye bye.